Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another interesting video this time. As you see, I have a very different setup. As you were always used to start with a phone, I'm actually using all the setup that I have as far as cameras, microphones, microscope. I'm trying to give you the best experience possible so you guys, get more into what I do. All right, so this time I have a Marine ECM. This is coming from New York. William, this is your computer. So he has intermittently cutting engine off. This is an ECM 0713 from 2013. It's a 4.3 MERC Cruiser Alpha. All right, so this is a very common situation that these computers had, especially when they got a little bit of a water intrusion. I still got the cover in here. The camera might not pick this up really well. I want to show you this. So in here on the cover, this is obviously the other side of the computer open. I notice a little bit of a corrosion, so that's very, very common. All right, so I also want to show you, you're right now looking at the new design on my website. So when you enter the website, you're going to see the name, what I do, the shipping address in multiple areas. If I refresh the screen, which I'm going to do right now, you're going to see how some of the images popped up. So these are the fill this form button in here. If you click this won't download a form, which is the same one that William sent. So this is going to open this document. It's a Word document, so no antivirus, no nothing. So in this, I need you to fill it. So name, phone, email, address, the state, all this complete of the address. I want to, if you are sending multiple items, like sometimes people send me the computer, the instrument cluster, the VCM, the key. So please make sure that you add all that in here. What kind of concerns you have with each of them. That's what I have different lines and part numbers, serial numbers, engine being numbers. 1 second because it looks like a serious stop. Okay, Siri was trying to pick up something. So big number, engine size, if it's for a boat like this one, 4.3 liter, 5.0, 5.7, etc. If it's a vehicle, BA 6.6 diesel, etc. Right? If you're sending the key with the module or with the VCM or so, if it's something related to immobilizers, please add a note in there, yes or no, and how many keys are you sending, and then sign at the bottom of the document. You have all the connections to me in there as far as the website, the email, address, and telephone that you can contact me. All right, so this is the form that you can fill. Let me get back to here. So this is the website again. You also have the click here to contact us. This is going to open your email browser, and you have also the chat. If you open the chat, please write your full name, email, and telephone so I can contact you. All right, so that's just a brief note on here. All right, so going into what we have, let me show you the oscilloscope, sorry, the microscope I have right now connected. So this is pointing right now over to this I see here. We have also the EEPROM on the computer, and we're going to see how we have light corrosion. The big difference in between this module and like the RAM, the 2014 RAM or the Dodge RAM that I was not um, I didn't repair, not that I couldn't, but I didn't repair because of costs, right? Cost effective is what is important at the end for you as a customer and also for me as a repair facility. I'm not going to repair a module that is going to cost more than what you can get a used one or a new one, right? So that's very important to understand. Yes, I know there's a lot of people from YouTube. They want me to keep going and show more and more. But remember, this is a business. This is not just a YouTube channel that is showing you how to repair computers. This is also for my customers and you as a customer, all right? So in this case, we have this intermittent running stalling. So let me go over to his folder, which I should have right here. So I have the history before repairs, which I have not completed any repairs on his. I always saved, and you're going to see that in here, the calibration number, the year. As you can see, all this calibration on this computer. This is from 2013, a 4.3 alpha. It's 8M 202-2217. Again, it's a 4.3 alpha. And then all these parameters, which are really important for me, because in here it tells me what the high RPM should be, what the idle RPMs, the IAC resistance, the injector resistance, and so on, right? So in the firing order. So those also very important for the technician when he's checking the boat. So in here, I'm not running the actual computer yet. I always just connect it, and then I don't change my temperatures or any readings that I have from the simulator. So you see right here, I have a 91, the third line on the values and the parameter description. The coolant temperature is in 91.40, so 91 degrees. The coolant temperature, if we go down to coolant temperature, is 42.8. So those I don't change. Like that, I know when I read down on the fault codes if those are my fault codes or his fault code. So he has a chip anticipating switch, very common on these 4.3s, and that is also part of the circuit that gets corroded inside the computer, and then it's no way you guys can fix that because it's internally. Yes, you want to make sure that you check that switch because it's very, very prone to also give a glitch. Like it's a very easy to move, and sometimes it goes and opens, and this is what it lets the computer send the signal for the EST. This has only one EST signal for all the 8 cylinders, so it's a one signal for the coil, right? So looking down or going down, we can see on this first full code that the temperature in the coolant is 147.20. So definitely that's not mine. The engine is running very low RPM, for 547. Battery voltage is good, 14.4. That means it's charging, and that is it means it's running. Things that immediately pick up. Well, it's shown that it's in neutral. Well, okay, that's just a starting, right? So let's say that is correct. But if I scroll down, also I can see the TPS percentage on 0. That is no good. Why? Because that tells me also, again, the fiber reference or the sensor ground inside the computer is having a problem. And what the reason I'm saying is inside the computer is because let's follow down, right? So we have another full code. Okay, the hours also very important, 359.18. I'm trying to move my mouse so you guys can see that. Oh, actually, oof, give me 1 second because you guys not seeing that. So let me, now you are seeing it. I'm sorry, guys, because I was in the wrong screen. I had to get used to this new setup. So you were looking at the microscope and not at that. So let me go back. Okay, on the right side, you got the calibration and all the information. Again, look for the mouses on the upper right corner, the calibration number, and everything is there coming down, right? So we have again, first it says vehicle description, and then it says performance data parameter description. Going down the third line, it says coolant temperature 91.4, and then going down again, it's like the 7th line. Also says manifold. Let me see, manifold air temperature. It's like the 10 line, 42.8. All right, going down into the full codes, the same, the chip anticipation switch that I was describing. Now we got the description on the full codes. If we see the battery voltage 14.4, the RPMs on 547, running and idle, and then the TPS, which is the second to last line, and 0. This is still showing 100% power, which is telling me that yes, it's letting the engine run, but with 0% TPS and low RPM is in this fold, it will cut off the engine, right? Because again, this is an alpha. This will be a Bravo, is not there. When it's a shift, sorry, an alpha, they put this switch in there. Don't ask me why, because it's only on the alphas. All right, so, but going down, again, we got 359 hours and 18 minutes. If we scroll down to the next one, we are again 152.6. The hours are way before, so we have now 330. So that's like 20 hours. How much we got before? 359, yeah, almost like 30 hours before that. So But yeah, so this is happening again. In this one, we have the total position sensors reading 66.70. And yes, look at the RPMs, 4,944. So I'm going to keep the image on the screen so you can find the RPM. I'm going to try to move the mouse. Yeah, it's a little hard to point, but you will be able to see that in there. Okay, going down into full codes, we got fuel pump circuit relay. This is definitely immediately you can see the engine state power off, so the engine die. Different hours, so this is a different fold, different hours. Again, in this one, since the engine is not running, I will not condemn the TPS because we have no RPM. Well, actually, it's reading 505. But if we see the battery voltage 12.79, this means for me that the engine just died, especially, I mean, power off, right? Because if we see right here, it says running on the next fold up over the speed. When you see the engine state, it's the engine running, and that one is power off, so the engine died. So now the next one fold, the third fold, I'm scrolling down. We can see battery voltage in 14.49. The temperature, manifold temperature 123. Wow, that's a little, a little very hot. Coolant temperature almost the same. Is running at 3,494 RPMs. We can see in there 15.18 degrees of percentage, sorry. But yeah, this is me gathering data to start to understand what is happening either on the boat or with the computer, right? Uh, the fourfold, that happened, the over speed, that was over speed, no, neutral, yeah, neutral over speed, 350 hours. Now coolant engine temperature overheating. This is all like you can see the temperature on 194, coolant temperature and manifold on 98, the engine is running. Again, the TPS and zero. Yeah, this is, but it's very low RPMs. It's like 552. It's like almost it's completely shot. It could read zero in there, but we have already 57% of available power. This is definitely the engine overheating. We have then throttle position sensor, no adaptation. Again, this is all in here because look at the coolant temperature, 136. Remember what I have, 90 something degrees and 40 degrees on the air temperature. So in these two right here, we got 136 on the coolant temperature and 68 on the manifold. This is still his faults. We got 100% power and is reading still 10.25% on the throttle position sensor. This most likely happened after the last zone that he started. The throttle is still not adapted because the computer doesn't really understand what's going on, right? So this is for me definitely showing short internally in the computer. And what I was trying to say about the RAM and this computer difference, this is a one layer board, at least glued to a piece of aluminum like this. So I can definitely take this over to the ultrasonic cleaner, dry it up, remove all this conformal coating, and then reapply the calibration, which I have all these calibrations and stock, not a problem, replace all the components, and then send this back testing it properly, which I'm going to test and run this computer on the video as well for all you. We will see that in a second. Let's keep going down with these fault codes. We got an IAC output. We're going to see if the IAC output is working or no. Again, I'm going to have to tell you because of the setup right now that I have, you will not be able to see as I'm used to guide my phone over to that. This is not happening on this one, but believe me, I will tell you if it's working or not. We got a low dry lube, and that is all these faults. Definitely none of them, in my case, happened to me because look at the temperature, right? So these are just the full seconds. The only one that is reported is the starboard overheating, and these are the RPMs recorded on the entire history of this computer, 359.55. All right, going still on his values. I did record some values of the computer running. I erased the faults, and this is what I got. Now I adjusted the temperature, and I'm in 145.40 and 77 degrees, which is going to change because we're going to run it now. All right, so here, let me get the oscilloscope in the screen. So I got the oscilloscope ready. So I'm going to, and I'm not going to be able to use this like this now. Well, maybe I can. if I have, so the oscilloscope, and I need to have, yeah, Diacom, perfect. So I will be able to do it this way. So we got Diacom as the diagnostics for those that are not familiar that I use is Rinda.com. This is the software that I use for that simulator and everything is going on. So I'm going to click in here. We're going to select MERC Cruiser 2001 to 2009, and that is for these two computers. One is the ECM 555, which is, or PCM, sorry, the one with the three connectors, and then the ECM 555 with the two connectors. I click OK on here, and now this is going to populate the data, right? So I got colon on 140 and then manifold on 86. So this is now what is happening, right? So what I'm given. So I'm going to run this, and now we start seeing signals. I put on the screen on the left side, you'll see the oscilloscope. So I name every channel to what I'm actually connected to. Bank one, sorry, blue channel on bank one injector, red channel on the bank two injector, green is the EST signal, and the yellow is the tachometer. All right, so I can change the time in here so we can see most signals. It's nice looking waveforms. So I'm going to separate and probably bring down this. I can do on here on the display. I can make that signal smaller so we don't need that huge amplitude on the waveform, right? So I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to do the same thing on the yellow, sorry, on the green channel. We're going to make that smaller so we can have more of waveforms in here. So I'm going to do the same on this other channel. And if you're using Picoscope, you can always do this, right? So the signals, you don't need it to be that big. You can just make it smaller so you got more on your whole setup in the screen, right? So that looks a lot better. So now we can see more actuations. Now we can see the computer is running. We have injection, we got the EST signal, and we got attack. So everything is there. We got 100% power on the right corner on the Diacom. We got 100% power. So all is looking good. The parameters that I'm giving, you can see throttle position sensor is on 0.64 volts. That's 8%. We got oil pressure 43, and the rest of all these signals, all these sensor signals, I am provided through my simulator, right? So all is looking good. So we have to raise the idle. So I'm going to come up and we're going to see the response on the oscilloscope with more actuations of everything, right? So I'm almost in 3000, 2500, 2600. So I'm going a little slow. Let me go over to like 3500 RPMs, right? So let me change the map value. So make sure, and I can do this, I can always take a zoom glass on data that I want you to put more attention, right? So let's get the throttle position percentage. All right, so we're going to do that. Let's select the engine RPM. Like that, you guys are seeing better everything that I have in here. So I'm also going to select the available power because I'm going to do tests, right? So this is what I always do when I'm providing or doing this test. So let me change the map to what I usually do, a higher idle, which is around 12%. And this is going to change the injection time. We can see the blue channel in the red channel now are looking. You see, if I reduce the map, you see how the injection millisecond is shorting. If I go up to 12, you can see how now those injection milliseconds, because the reason that is going that dramatically is because this is for a batch of injectors, right? So 4 injectors per channel. Bank one for injectors, bank two for injectors, right? And the green is just a signal for all the A spark plugs. All right, so all is looking good. Let me raise the throttle to around 50%. I don't see nothing wrong yet on here. Well, I'm starting to see a little bit of a glitch. I hope that you guys captured that on the blue and the red. There was two glitches on the ejectors. So this is what it could be causing. And the computer is just warming up. I can see the IAC is working good. Let me check the 5-volt reference because I got a multimeter connected to that. Yeah, 5-volt reference is steady. So no issues with that whatsoever. So what I usually do here is I just let the computer run. This is definitely for me. Let me take you back to the oscilloscope. So in the oscilloscope right now, we're going to be seeing, let me just make sure. I'm going to go a little deep in, but yeah, we can hopefully it's adjusted properly. On these IC and these IC right here, let me move the oscilloscope a little. Wait, right there. Okay, so these ICs, this one and this another one higher, which it looks just like this one. These are in control of the AEC, fuel pump driver, and so on. In conjunction with drivers, right? This is the pre-driver in conjunction with that. And we can see light corrosion. This one is actually not so bad. So this is actually a good example. These upper pins, hopefully you guys can see that really well. They're nice and clean. If we go over to the other AC, and let me again move by hand, so it's going to be a little shaky, but not so bad. We can definitely see how that other AC is bubbly, and it has kind of like a blue color. So this is again, it has a conformal coating that is supposed to be there to protect against or is water resistant. It's not waterproof, it's water resistant. And this is the issue, right? So when these computers are built, they're not sealed. Well, like, yes, let me explain. Well, they do seal the case, but the connector has holes to allow temperature, right? Because the computer is going to expand with the temperature, air has to come in and air has to go out through the connector. So if by any chance the connector ever gets a splash or something, that water can enter the computer, and this is where the moisture enters. Very common on this computer. I'm an expert on these ones. I have repaired, I don't know, five to 6,000 of these computers. So I have all parts in stock. So you're in the best hands on here, William. All right, so yes, this is what I am experiencing. I already analyzed in the other microscope this computer, and I can put them on the side and look under the microscope, and or sorry, under the microprocessor, and I don't see any corrosion in there. The actual microprocessor was sealed really good with that conformal coating, and that is good. But on the fiber regulator, which is right here, right? So these are the regulating area of this computer. Whatever you see, something like that in place, make sure that there's a little bit of focus, but not so bad. We can definitely see again that green color right here, a little bit of a bluish in here, here, and all these areas. So again, it's a light corrosion, but this is definitely what is happening with him. All right, going into the screen again. I'm looking at here and I don't see nothing wrong. So what I'm going to do is let me create a fault, because if we go here with this software and I read fault codes right now, it says no fault codes. So the computer is happy, the calibration is happy, nothing is happening. So let's inject a fault. So what I'm going to do is, and let me choose or close this one, and I'm going to show you the coolant temperature, because this is a main input. Oh, that's not the one. This is the one I want. Let's put it right there. So I'm going to make that temperature go high. You see how the available power went down to 6%? So that should, okay, and it cut the engine off. And this is one, okay, because that should not turn the computer off. Let's try that again, because maybe I just cut it exactly on the moment that this computer just dies. So I'm going to bring the speed down, because you see one thing that I am seeing right now is the RPM is not changing. So I run again and look at the RPMs reading. I don't know why that bit is not changing, because I can see it in here. It still shows 6% power, so let me raise that a little more. You see it die again. Okay, this is happening. This is his concern. This has nothing to do with voltage. I'm going to stop right now the running, because obviously it's not running. The signals are being injected, but it's not running. So if we read the fault codes, it still says no fault codes, right? So we are going to close all this. Now we're going to read the fault and the RPM history. This is going to generate. So you see, we definitely have the fault right there. Look, ECT overheating, and that is right now, and it's actually in guardian mode. So yes, definitely that was created by me, guardian mode. So that is definitely going to put the computer on this state. So we're going to have to erase the faults to see if the computer runs or not. All right, make sure, yes, microphone and everything is good. I want to make sure that, yep, it looks like my camera just died. All right, let me see what is going on, guys, because I have a. All right, guys, sorry, I had to switch cameras. The other camera started to warm up, and that is actually a problem that the Sony A1 has when you're recording in high definition. So yeah, this is, I now have the A7S3 there, and I moved the A1 here, which was actually, I was using it very long time for the testing, so I should have let it cool down before starting the video, but it's okay. I got another one, so not a problem. Let me just put this on the tripod so it's safe because that's an expensive camera. All right, so yeah, we are having the problem with this computer now. All right, so it's not running. We got to still, even that I reset the falls, it still shows 6%. So let me go over to, you want to clear the full code. This should be enough to reset that to that, and this is still in Guardian mode. So let me power off the computer. And you see, as soon as I turn that running, so now it's in 90%. So let me bring the idle down. Because I'm trying to reproduce, sorry if I'm not too much. Yeah, I think I'm still on the screen. So yeah, everything is there. So we're trying to reproduce this concern. So let me read the full codes. Okay, so you see this is a fuel pump relay circuit. No, the fuel pump is on, it's active, and all those are inactive. So all these happen over the speed. It should not be setting over the speed. So let me erase this again. Now it's on 100%. So I'm wondering if he has a problem with overheating because we have not get that chip anticipating switch problem. Let me see. Yeah, the computer is getting nice and toasty. I'm actually, uh, let me show you here. All I'm doing is just touching the board. You guys are there, but yeah, these are getting nice and warm. I will probably say now the microprocessor is maybe in around, not, around 90 degrees of temperature. But yeah, so what I have to be careful is when I raise that temperature, again, let me set this up one more time with this zoom glass. Let me just select these two bits. So we got available power and engine speed. Oh, and obviously the temperature. So I took 3 bits. These are the three important ones, right? So I'm going to change that temperature quickly, but I'm going to let it go. You see? So you see how it was just very briefly. One more time, and then down. So as long as we keep that into a normal range, so it went high but not for too long. I'm going back to like around there, 150 or 140 something. That is okay. Because my goal is to make sure that we can read full. So that should be no full codes in there. But if we read the full history, well, let me see 1 second. Let's see what the computer is actually now seeing. Okay, we are still got, so I'm going to have to erase the full history and do, just click cancel. Just bear with me, guys. This is the way I do diagnostics, and this is the way you have to do diagnosis when you're trying to correct an issue. You cannot just attempt the repair and then send it to see if it works. I mean, some facilities do that way. I don't. I am actually always looking into reproduce the concern, try to confirm the problem and then correct it, right? Right, so we read, let me read one more time, make sure we got nothing in the history. This should be very quickly. All right, read it again. So yeah, this is where you have no freeze frame. Now we're seeing that in here. So all the seconds and the RPMs, which are not being touched. So let's go over to the data. I'm just going to click again the wrong one. I don't know why I put some always in there. I'm here. That's the wrong one. Just going to do those two. All right, let's quickly do the temperature one more time. All I'm trying to set up is folds. All right, we can close this because when they're intermittently, like just that quickly, like the way just did, it should, if we read fold, it should be nothing. And you see, there's nothing in there. But if we read the fold, the RPM and fold history, it should be in there. Oh, and it didn't. Yeah, I know it's too quick. All right, let's do it for longer. Gonna let it go for a little more. See, now it's changed the temperature. It's setting up the Guardian mode. As long as that computer stays in that 6%, it means it's in Guardian mode. This is still showing no full codes. Oh no, you see right now they're putting them in the bottom. So let me erase this page and read the full codes. So we should have that. Engine to Guardian is active. You see, Guardian mode is not going to go away because what happens is it went too hot. So long as you don't turn the boat off and you let it cool down and then come back, it's not going to let you continue because it's trying to protect that engine. So, and I'm going to show you. So the falls are inactive. You see the over the speed, which I'm not sure why it's sending the over the speed again in there, which it didn't happen. Let me actually read the history one time to see what is the over the speed that is complaining because we did this just in idle. You see, it's like over the speed. That's a weird pole because as you see, the full is showing 604. So you see 604 RPM. So that's not over the speed. So it's probably a glitch that is just telling you that you are overheated. Everything else is showing good. So yes, we did have a Guardian of 6%. Well, right now it's in 100%. But right here, everything is happening here. 6%, and then the temperature in 230 degrees. It still shows the available power in that amount, 6%. The only way you can get this to go is by turning the boat off. You see, as soon as I turn the RPMs, like switch off, right? I can turn it back off, and now we're running in 100% power again. And when that happens, so let me reset that Guardian mode one more time. So 6%. Now it had to stay for like 5 seconds. Okay, now we are in Guardian mode again. So we are in Guardian mode. I'm going to put just normal temperature. I'm going to keep it cool, 140. The rest I'm not going to change nothing. I'm going to try to go up higher RPMs. You see, it shut down. But right now you see no injections. See, look, we are reading 900 RPMs, but look at it. Look at the injectors. Both banks are off. If I bring down the RPMs, it runs. You see, just in idle. But as soon as I go, you see 600 is there. As soon as I go to 700, now one bank is down. Now both banks are dead. See, it just barely let this engine run. So yes, if you have any overheating issues, William, it will create this problem. So we have two situations with your computer. Let me turn this back off, and now we got, as you see, guys, see 100% power. And as soon as I got 100% power, okay, now let's raise the idle, right? Now you see, as soon as I am no longer with that 6% of available power, the boat is running good. I can go up to 3,000 RPMs. I can change the throttle position. So yes, nothing is happening. The computer is happy. So yeah, this is telling me no doubt about it that if you have an overheating issue, and if we go back to his folder, right? And this is where I'm always saving the history before repairs, before any attempt of repair. I'm going to go up to that overheating right here. So if we select that coolant temperature, I'm going to select it with the blue so you guys can see where I am if this lets me do it. So you see right there, coolant temperature 194 degrees. So anything above, and this is probably 57, yes, because this is very important to see that. I don't see a guardian mode. Let me see if there's anything else. No, because, so let me reproduce that 194 on here, because that is actually very important to see. So 194, I'm going to go slowly, increasing the temperature to reproduce a 50, I think it's like a 50% or something, right? Power, you see, no, it's too much. It's very hard for me to go up that temperature. These knobs are not that accurate. I can do it, but just barely touching it. You see, okay, I'm in 180, 190. I'm already losing power. So please just check these available power. See, right now I'm in 65, and I'm in not you, and I'm in 190. So you see, it's glitching up and down the temperature, but it's not cutting the injection yet. I'm in high RPMs, nothing happened. I'm still, with 60%, 90%, 60%. So not sure why is this not being updated. This is a glitching diagram because if we see here, just look at the right corner. I'm going to change the temperature very slightly, trying to get that percentage to even go lower. You see that is in 43%. So I'm trying to see if this could be another issue too, right? So I'm increasing the RPMs. Yeah, I'm still, yeah, that's over speed. No, this was now not over speed. So it did cut after 3,800 RPMs. Because you see, we no longer had injection. You see, and I can come back. So it does cut off even, but yeah, you see right now we got a 20% available power. The temperature is in 190 something, 199 to 100. It's a little glitchy, the sensor. Again, this is not too uh, precise. So it can go up to, if you see, because if you see the temperature, it goes up to 200 degrees sometimes, and we only have 20%. But yeah, so this is definitely very important. This is also for you guys that have boat. You should very carefully check your temperatures. What I always recommend to my customers is to make sure that you have um, a manual or a regular gauge, because sometimes the mechanical ones are the most precise gauges to catch an overheating, because an overheating will create all these issues. And if you have a sensor, a coolant temperature sensor, right, that is glitching because of a bad ground or a bad sensor or a bad signal from the computer, it will shut up your engine. You see how important, and that can be without changing any throttle position or any other value than the temperature, and this will cut off your injection, your both banks, right? So right there, we are in 753 RPMs. If you're not looking at your temperature and you're just cruising and everything is normal, so it's impossible for this temperature to go from 150 to 200 in a second. But if you have a bad sensor, a shorted harness, or a bad computer that is glitching that signal, well, then I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go over to 200. What is going to happen? It's going to now get you 6%. All right. As soon as you are in there, even if the temperature went back to normal, right? Which is right there. It happened only in 3, 4 seconds. You didn't check that out, and now you're going to see the temperature is 158. So everything is looking perfect. But look at available power, right? So these are the things also to know is Sometimes it would be nice to have like maybe like a tech mate from Diacom that you can have always connected to see those values because the engine went into overheating, not because it did overheat, because you have a problem again, harness sensor, etc. That will immediately happen because look at this. What happened? Boom, no injection. Looking in the oscilloscope. Blue channel, red channel, and green channel, gone. Is the engine overheating? No. I can go down now to 600 and the boat will start again, right? Or will run again. Very, very slow RPM because it's like below 600. So this engine will die. In your hands, what will happen is the engine will die, right? So like right now, it died, and you will crank it again and look at the engine power. As soon as it die, it goes back to 100. Now your engine is running good, and you will like, well, what is going on? What is happening? So yeah, this is definitely his issue. So this is what I'm trying to show. This is a lot of information that I'm sharing with all you boat owners, with all you technicians that are doing this kind of tests. You need to have data. You need to have an oscilloscope to check the signals. This is very easy to install. I am using a 4-channel oscilloscope. You can get a picoscope, a U-Activate. There is actually oscilloscope that you can buy in Amazon, very cheap, that you can actually perform all these tests. All I'm doing is 4 channels, and I have all the grounds to the battery ground. All the grounds on the oscilloscopes are going to go to the battery ground. And then the rest, I will just use a needle. Let me just show you what I'm talking about, right? So I'm going to use this, a needle, right? So a needle probe connected to each of the channels on the oscilloscope, and I'm going to back probe onto the injector, bang one injector in cylinder one injector in cylinder eight, 2 different channels. Now you know when the injector's in there. One order signal onto the EST. Like that, you know when the engine is dying. You can see and you can record because with these picoscopes, you can record hours of testing. Same thing is with Diacom. If you have Diacom like I have here, let me put this away. If you have Diacom and you want to take this boat for a test drive, right? So what I would do is I just connect it even without the oscilloscope. But let's say, with oscilloscope because I want to see what am I missing, because don't just assume that because it's happening on William, it's going to be the same thing in yours. So we need to know what are we missing. By me having the oscilloscope connected, if the boat stalls, but the temperatures on the diagrams are correct, but I lose one of the injectors or both of the injectors or the EST, now I can see it. You see? Because otherwise you will be just guessing. And guess, you know how technicians or mechanics, the old style mechanics, they just guess. It's like, oh, let's replace injectors. Let's replace the spark plugs. Let's replace the distributor. Let's replace the cylinder head. Let's replace the crankshaft. And it can become real expensive. Let's replace the engine harness. Why? Because they don't know what it is. If I can see here and I start seeing glitches, well, let's try to reproduce. I'm not just going to jump the gun because I see injectors missing. Oh, I need to replace the injector. No, 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 no. Let's now do a wire, wiggle, wiggle the wires, ohm the resistance on the injector, see if they're getting shorted, see if you're missing the feed coming from the fuse, right? Because the computer is in control of the ground side, but the power side is coming from a fuse, a relay, whatever, right? So we need to check those. So always do the complete check before you replace parts. All right, but going into Diacom, in Diacom, I can right be here and I can click on this camera. You see record live data. All these bits, as soon as I start this, I'm going to be recorded. So if I have right now, like we have, this problem, I just went into like overheating and idle, and I let it go. Now it's back into cool, and I stop this recording. Okay, so I'm going to stop it here. All right, so I'm going to name it William um, Test. All right, this is going to disregard because I think I got the captions on. So yes, I did. When I go over to my documents, Diacom, this should be in Diacom data right here, and then record. So I'm going to go over, you see I got a lot of recordings saved, so I'm going to go over to the last one, which is William. And I try to open this. This is going to, let me just let's stop this 1 second because in order to run that, I have to, let me turn the boat, the computer off. So yes, I'm going to lose the communication with that. All right. So because you cannot be doing both things at the same time. So you're going to go into the folder, right? The third, I don't know, icon in there, right? View a recorded file. You're going to click into that. Again, we know where we are. This is going to, if you're in diagram, this will take you over to where they are. So we're going to go here. Actually, let me change the name of here because I cannot see this like that. So we're going to put this correctly. All right, that's better. All right, so now if we open this, I'm going to make this a full screen so we can. This is going to it's going to show you even before you click on the recording, you have like 5 seconds because this is always ready to be recorded. If you don't press on there, it's just 5 seconds before they were always being recorded. So this is constantly recording, even if you don't know. So it's prepare for that. So the recording actually start to happen in here. So when you are here, you see right there is a 5%. And you can see the glitch in the temperature because let's say this is a glitch in the coolant temperature and you're not going to catch this any other way. So you're going to go here and you're going to either play it. Let me see. I can reduce the speed. Actually, that's going to play speed. No, yeah, plays the speed. We got a greater time, so we're going to play it here. Let me go more time because we want to. This is you can. I don't know if I can go. Yeah, we cannot go in here. Yeah, there is not a button. It would be nice to have a button that you can go frame by frame, but you can reduce the speed like by increasing that number here, right? So I'm going to 50 milliseconds, 60 milliseconds. So I can go there, and when I see that change, now I can go back because I can see, okay, well, where is that glitch right there? So right now, I'm picking the problem. So it's impossible that the boat was going in 150 degrees, right? And then all of a sudden went to 200 and something for 2 seconds, so 1 second, and then went back to 150 and then it keeps going good in this regard because I couldn't go exactly to the same temperature in there. But okay, went back to 250 maximum temperature, and then again into normal temperature. But since it stayed for that period of 3 seconds, 4 seconds, or whatever the computer needs to set that guardian mode, is now into that guardian mode, and it will not happen. It will not go away until you turn the engine off and you crank it again. So this is where you need to do this. No doubt about it that this computer really needs to be repaired because you got water intrusion. But with with that part in there that shows as a overheating twice, I would recommend you to check your temperature sensor, your wiring, because that might be a problem also on the boat. So I hope that you guys like the content. The solution on this computer will be to put them into the ultrasonic cleaner. I'm going to remove all the conformal coating, replace all the diodes, EEPROM, the two ICs that I show you that control the fuel pump and the IAC drivers. I always replace those. I replace the firewall regulator, all the capacitors and diodes, and then do a complete refresh in the computer. That's what it needs to be done in this one. And then I use a conformal coating that I like. I like that one because it's not um, I don't know, like a rubber type. This I have seen is the same conformal coating that we saw onto that Ram Dodge. It's a very thick, kind of like a rubbery material that allows moisture because it cracks and then it lifts from the board and then it lifts a space of air. You don't want to have that space of air because when it is air, it's going to enter moisture too. And the spray that I use is a very thin film, but it's kind of like a paint, like an acrylic. So that is definitely very, very good. All right, so this is the way you will cache it. I don't see, again, anything else that we need to do here. I'm going to change now the positions because I minimize it, not a problem. But yeah, if I run this computer again, We're going to exit from here. Oop, I didn't exit completely. Or I exit, sorry, I exit completely. All right, we're going to select the computer, and then we can click again. We can see that we have the 100% power again. I can change RPMs and the computer is running good. So, yep, we have definitely two problems on this computer. For those that wants to know where I get that information from the module, as far as calibration and everything, you got to go over to test, system information, and then you got all the information for the computer right there. All right, that's one. Also, you can change the engine location. This is on a starboard computer. You can send it to port. If it's a multiple engines, you can set up port starboard 2 or port 2. All right, so this is where you go, and you can also do all this testing here: fuel pump relay, IAC output, etc., fuel injector, ignition coil output test, and so on. All right, guys. I hope again that you like the content. I hope that you like what I'm trying to show you here, and I know that this is not much of a um, I don't know, like on the board repair, because what it needs to be done in this one is again on the ultrasound, remove and apply that code. So I'm telling you what I will do in here based on what I am experiencing. But I hope that you like the content. Let me know what you think about the new setup, the new way that I'm presenting the information. Hopefully you like it. And don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.